Hi, my name's Sandra. I'm a life coach specialising in health and wellbeing. I want to bring to you a little video that's a little bit different from what I've done before. So this is a real insight into what my life was like, what happened and what it's like now, because I think the benefits of self-care is so phenomenal, particularly at this time. So I'm going to show you in my home a little bit and talk a little bit about the how I actually got from where I've come from. But I think it's really important to show you a picture of what I used to look like. So this was me when I was about 36, and I had a drink. I looked pretty happy, didn't I? But actually underneath all that, I wasn't really very happy. I wasn't capable at that time, or didn't feel like I was, to really honestly communicate my feelings. You can clearly see I was very overweight. I wasn't in the happiest of marriages, and I wasn't really being honest with myself. I was a people pleaser, constantly saying yes and taking on too many demands, and I just didn't feel really truly authentic. So I had a bit of a challenging time in my life, and then I went and saw a life coach by complete accident 25 years ago, and it absolutely transformed my life. And that's why I do the work I do, because I really believe that where I am now is somewhere anyone could achieve. We all have huge potential. So I got so involved in working with this coach, and what happened was little tiny things changed in my life. Nothing changed overnight. You can imagine if you're smoking too much and drinking too much and very overweight, that it's going to take a while to deal with all those different situations. And I really now am an advocate of prevention. What I went through was very, very challenging. And if I knew what I knew now, I'm sure we can all say that, can't we, sometimes? My life would have been very different. So I wanted to give you a bit of insight, like I said, into my own life, because I still have challenges today, particularly emotionally sometimes and mentally, a little bit of despondency. And I now have created some tools that have helped me, and I think they can help you, to dramatically improve your life. So what are these tools? Well, this is one of the tools, and it's called a health fountain tool, and I get really excited when I think about this tool because it addresses all areas of our life. Now, people think just as long as you have plenty of exercise and you eat yogurt and you get out into nature, then you're going to have a really happy life. And there's so many other areas that are involved. In fact, I got so excited about this process that I wrote a book called Know the Truth, which has very simple actions of how you can start that journey. So what is it all about? Well, if you don't have any fun, for example, a life full of exercise, yoga and outside in the open and no fun, if you don't have any money, that will affect your health dramatically. If you don't like where you live, I live in a very beautiful home, and I really take care of myself now, which I didn't used to. I make time to sit at a table. This is my table that I set, not just for you. I do this every mealtime. So I have breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's not about what's on there. Obviously, it's healthy food. But it's really important for me to sit at the table. How many of us charge about in life, rushing from A to B, doing this action, doing that action? List this long of to-do list that we don't actually achieve, and then we feel guilty, full of self-blame and shame and remorse, or then we procrastinate and we just can't be bothered. So where I've come from, the picture that I've showed you of what it was like to who I am today, as you can see, is dramatically different. And the difference is I put my health first instead of everybody else. I used to put my family first, I put my children first, I put my work first, and now I put myself first. And you might think to yourself, well, that's a bit selfish, which a lot of people have said to me. In fact, one of my sons said to me, Mum, I think that's really quite selfish of you to put yourself before us. But remember, when you put yourself first, everybody benefits because you're in better shape mentally, emotionally, physically. When you're rested, you've ate well, you've got good boundaries. Another area that I think people struggle with is listening to their own bodies. We might hear it when our body says, oh, I'm really tired, have a rest, or I really need to drink some water, or I really need to pay attention to slowing down. But do we actually do what the little voice says? And that's another area on this health fountain tool that I've created that is really important. So what things do we need to address to have a better quality of life? Well, our relationships. You know, we all want great relationships. If your relationships aren't really good and of high quality, that'll affect your health, because it's depressing, isn't it, being in a relationship that isn't happy? If you haven't got any fun in your life, you know, I try and inject fun. Most people who know me know I go to the cinema every Monday, which I love. So every Monday afternoon, pretty much, I go on my bicycle down to the cinema. If you don't do work you love, I absolutely love my career. I love working with people. I love seeing the potential in people and not judging people and helping them work towards their eventual goals that they want to achieve. If you haven't got any money, everything else in your life might be perfect, but no money or no income coming in, and that will affect your health. If your time management is really poor, or you don't make time for yourself, how many of us put, as I said, everyone first and then they don't make time for themselves? You know, I make sure now that I put time in for me, and as I said, then I'm much better with other people. If you don't like where you live, I love my home. You know, I think it's a really beautiful, simple home that makes me happy when I walk in the front door. If my mental health isn't in a great space, and with COVID and everything else going on recently, and it's still going on at the moment, it is quite devastating for a lot of people. And if your mental health isn't looked after and cared for, that can affect. I mean, so many people are going on antidepressants and feel really, really down, and they haven't got the tools and the equipment to help themselves on a daily basis. If you don't have a sense of spirit and you just don't feel like you're all alone, that will also affect your health. Obviously, if your physical body isn't taken care of, you know, a lot of people turn to drink and cigarettes and junk food and behaviours that they know aren't really healthy for their physical body. If you don't have a purpose, I mean, to be actually able to say that you have a purpose in life, I mean, everyone's got a different purpose, I believe, and it may not be career orientated, but I believe what I do is a purpose, and I absolutely love it. So today I wanted to give you a little bit of an insight into what I do and why I do what I do. You know, it's an ongoing thing that I pay attention to. All these areas in my life I need to pay attention to, not all at once. But if I focus on the thing that is giving me the most challenge, when I first saw a life coach, I said to him, well, I've got this, I've got a weight problem, I'm smoking, I'm drinking, there's so much that I need to deal with, I don't know where to start. And he said, start with one small, tiny action. And when you start with that one action, the first thing I started on was working on my body, because I knew I didn't drink enough water. I knew that I didn't get enough rest. I knew that I didn't eat as well as I could most of the time. So I started to address that. And what's exciting is when you address one of these areas, it has a massive knock-on effect to other areas. So I'd love you to check out my website, and you can get me on www.innervision.co.uk, and Innervision is spelled INNAVISION. Go and have a look at my free weekly blogs, actually they're weekly vlogs, videos, and they're only 2 or 3 minutes long normally, and once a month I do a written blog, which will also help, I think, for people to understand top tips and just keeping it simple. I think that's the key that I'd like to share today. So as I've shared, this is where I've come from, and a lot of clients that come and see me because I've been on a journey myself which hasn't been comfortable. So who do I help and who's my target audience, I guess, is something I'd like to address. And I have worked with people that have had marriage issues, relationship issues with their children, relationship issues with their parents. I've worked with people that are depressed. I've worked with people that have either been diagnosed with cancer or got cancer and been really seriously ill. I've worked with people with disability. I've worked with people with phobias, anxiety, stress, effective communication, really anything. If you really want to make a change and you're really fed up with doing it on your own, one of my clients said to me, or many of my clients say to me, Sandra, why do I need to pay you some money if I know what to do? You know, I know what I'm supposed to do. And I say, well, why do you? And they say, I don't do what I know. You know, I know what I'm meant to do. I'd made a commitment to make this video today and I just didn't feel like it. I couldn't be bothered, but I'd made a commitment, and I've learned now that honouring my commitments to myself is equally as important as honouring my commitments to you. So I hope you found that of value, and if you'd like to contact me through my website, I'd love to speak with you further. And I just wish, even if you don't have a life coach, that you make little tiny changes in your health and well-being. Because if we don't take care of our health and make time, we have to make time for our illness. So I wish you well on your journey, and I really look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.